The 5 best Jean-Luc Godard movies, according to critics. The daring and brilliant auteur, who passed away at the age of 91 on Tuesday, September 13th, is remembered by THR's Paris-based film critic in this list of his favorite movies. Creating a list of Jean-Luc Godard's top 5 films is, if not an exercise in futility, then at the very least, an exercise in cinematic dread. The 91-year-old new wave director produced more than 70 features, documentaries, shorts, and TV movies, at least 20 of which are regarded as masterpieces by critics, admirers, and French movie aficionados. Some Godard fans believe that every work he produced was brilliant, to the point where any ranking of his body of work is sure to elicit its fair share of haters and snobs. Having said that, JLG liked to name his top 10 films each year, both while he was a critic at the Cahiers du Cinéma and afterwards when he was one of the most renowned filmmakers. He chose Howard Hawks' Hatari over his own My Life to Live and François Truffaut's Jules and Jim as his favorite film of 1962. Given that most people are more likely to recall the latter two than the Hawks movie, any list should be treated with a grain of salt, or, to use a Godardian staple, an unfiltered Gauloises cigarette. Everyone anticipates that Breathless will be at the top of any Godard best of list. The director's second film, which was created the year following his groundbreaking first but wasn't released until 1963 due to French government censorship, is, at least in the critic's opinion, the more memorable of the two and unquestionably one of Godard's finest successes, in addition to being the first time he worked with Anna Karina, who was captured on camera with the same rapture as Jean Seberg was in Breathless. It also foreshadows the contentious political conflicts that the director would engage in for the majority of his career, in this case involving the Algerian War. Additionally, it's just a really excellent spy film that says a lot with little, along with focusing on one of Godard's favorite themes, the impossibility of a love story surviving in a cruel society. The film also included an extremely simple torture sequence that was the main reason it was banned, available on Canopy and Criterion. With this austere black and white tale of a liberated young woman's steady breakdown, Godard is at his most ravishingly basic. It is a piece that draws inspiration from both The Passion of Joan of Arc by Carl Dreyer, which is shown playing in a theater, and Nana by Jean Renoir, after whom the main character is called. The film is both a harsh, almost documentary-like picture of a girl who descends into poverty and prostitution after leaving her family life behind, and one of the director's best collaborations with his then-wife and muse Anna Karina. A heartbreaking story about freedom being restricted that nonetheless offers a glimmer of optimism, and The Magnificent, accessible on HBO Canopy, Criterion, and Max. Contempt, one of Godard's most acclaimed films and possibly the closest he ever got to creating an epic Hollywood feature, is a film adaptation of Alberto Moravia's novel. However, it also criticizes the very idea of epic Hollywood filmmaking by demonstrating how a studio head takes advantage of the director who works for him, as well as the screenwriter's stunning wife, who is played by Brigitte Bardot in one of her most well-known roles. The Odyssey, which Lang is adapting for the film, ultimately merely acts as a setting for the conflicts that take place off-screen on a personal and professional level. Available on Amazon Prime Video, Canopy, and Criterion. In the same year that Godard transitioned from a new wave director experimenting with genre and form to an overtly political filmmaker who would participate in the May 1968 upheavals the following year, he also made the collage-like fiction, La Chinoise, and Weekend. This disjointed film, which stars Marina Vladi as a prostitute and single mother who lives in a recently developed banlieue outside of Paris, is full of startling cinematic compositions, thanks to cinematographer Raoul Coudard, whose eye helped shape many of Godard's best works that consider consumer culture, the Vietnam War, and the banal beauty of modern life. Accessible on Canopy, Criterion, and HBO Max, this reflective documentary, possibly Godard's most intimate piece, features the director, who was in his early 60 seconds at the time, as himself, with Roll, Switzerland, serving as the film's primary backdrop. Godard considers his work and film in general with a blend of melancholy humor and dialectical brilliance, finding poetry in the everyday objects around him, such as a beloved movie playing on television, a painting on the wall, or a brisk walk around Lake Geneva. With a paraphrase of Jean-Paul Sartre's own autobiography, The Words, he finishes this succinct yet potent essay with the